Hey, Pop Rockers, how's it going? Paul with you right now. Hey, a while back, well, not that long ago, really, about a week ago, I sat down with Reese from the Trafalgars and we spoke about their new music and their new album, About Time. The Trafalgars are a great band in South Australia. So make sure you stick around for the interview. And at the end of the interview, we'll have one of their songs at the end of the interview for you to watch and like. So don't forget to like, love, share, subscribe, follow, and yeah, check out the Trafalgars. Cheers. Bye. Welcome to Pop Rock Radio, Reese. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thanks,
Yes.
Paul.
Yeah, so the Trafalgars, I've only recently bumped into you guys. I'm not sure how I come across you guys, but I'm glad I did because you got a new album out, which is a month
We do.
old.
Yep.
A month old.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've got it here. It's called About Time.
Yep. That's
Yep.
it. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Tell us all about it.
it's good. Yeah, well, it's a little bit of history. We kicked around maybe about 15, 20 years ago, I
Yep.
suppose, and did a fair bit of did a Triple J and did all that stuff and did some tours with some larger bands and falls festivals and that kind of stuff. And then we didn't lose interest, but life kind of gets in the way, and our bass player moved overseas. And then he came back and we thought, well, we've got a couple of old songs. Let's add some new songs and put out an album. So here we are.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I was going to say there's a bit of a gap. I was going to ask what the gap
There,
is. And look,
there might be a world record. It might be,
yeah.
it might be a world record. It's probably like 18 or almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, really. So.
Oh, it is. But it's amazing how you managed to come back together. And so, but yeah, it's very hard to do.
Yeah, well, we all went to the same high school back in the late 90s, and our drummer, he's a couple of years older than us, but my bass player Jason, he's the same year as me, and we've got that connection, and we've always been mates the whole way. So it just made sense. We hang out anyway, so we may as well hang out with musical instruments.
Yeah. Do you have a diva? Is there anyone a diva? Because every band's got to have a diva. So.
Oh well. The other guys might say it's me, but we'd all definitely agree on Jason, the bass player. So.
Jason, and Matt's on drums.
Yeah. Matt's on the drums. That's right. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of bringing in a fourth person? Or has it always only been you three?
When we first started, we sort of messed around with a couple of little lineup changes, and we had a different drummer at the very, very beginning, and we had another guitarist, and just for whatever reason, just didn't quite work, or maybe we just thought three people's easier to get in a room at the same time, and we just stuck with mainly for a three-piece, and we've been a three-piece for all that time really now since.
So your sound is very I thought it sounded like Jet, but you've been referenced to like the Kinks, UMI, amongst other people, Supergrass.
Yep.
How did you come up with your sound? Did you intentionally come up with the sound, or did you want to develop your own sound? How did it come about?
Yeah, it's a good question. We all sort of liked similar kinds of music, and that sort of it all started off the 60s, kind of 70s, kind of rock and roll, mod rock sort of thing, like the Kinks and the Who and Beatles, and then bands that were influenced by those in Australia, like UMI's, even Dallas Crane, those sort of bands that were kicking around when we were younger, and that's the sort of stuff that we really loved, and we just that's just what naturally gets us going. So and it's all guitar, so it's mainly guitar rock and roll really, so that's really where we live.
So if anyone doesn't know, you can get the album just about anywhere. 10 tracks. I'll just read them out quickly. I want to find out which one is your favorite. Come On, Company Time, Girl, Start Again. So I've got bad lighting and bad eyes. So Davy Parker, She's My Girl, I've Got to Know, Get You Back Again, Doing It Fine, and Living a Dream. Which one's your favorite?
Oh, look, the one I find the most fun to play, and we all actually agree is the most fun to play, is Company Time. It's got a bit of a little bit of a swagger to it, and that's the most fun, I think.
Yeah.
I think probably the best song from a songwriting point of view, if I had to go down that path, is probably maybe Girl.
Yep.
It's a little bit more melodic, some minor key action in there.
Yep.
But it depends. It depends because, if we want to rocking out, if you like, and at the end of a set, Living
Yep.
a Dream's a really good one to, in the breakdown there, we throw in a few other bits and pieces. We might throw in a bit of a Stones song or something
Yep.
else in the middle of it just for a bit of fun. So, yeah,
Yeah.
depends what time of the night.
Oh, yeah. So you're still kicking around the Barossa Valley? So that's where you're from, the Barossa Valley, is it?
We're all originally from the Barossa
Yep.
Valley. Yeah, we're all sort of living closer to Adelaide now at the moment, but I'm actually moving back later in the year, so
nice.
Which will be cool. But we'll all only be about 45 minutes an hour away from each other tops, so that's good.
Beautiful place on the planet down there, the Barossa Valley. Is that where the big rocking horse is?
Not far. It's not far from there. It's kind of the Barossa. It's possibly classed as the Barossa. I'm not quite sure, but it's very close. Yeah. We're. So
I knew someone who was going over.
Place.
Yeah, they were going over for a holiday. I said, "You've got to go to the big rocking horse and buy a bag of rocking horse poo." And he didn't believe me. He didn't believe me. You could buy it. Like, the only place
we do have a few big things in South Australia. There's a couple there's a big koala and there's other couple of things as well. So it's the Australian tradition, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, we had one that was our premier. He was a big dick, but.
Right, well, you're not alone there. There's been plenty of those. So yeah.
I reckon it doesn't matter who you are. If you're the premier, that you're going to get called that anyway. But anyway,
that's it. That's right. They always get booed at the footy. It doesn't matter what they do. So
speaking of footy, who do you follow, Adelaide or Port Adelaide?
Oh, I'm a Crows supporter, and we're not having a great year. I don't know what's happened. We've just fallen off the cliff. Something's gone very wrong. We've lost a couple of assistant coaches, and a little disappointing. There's still time to save it, but not great. You're not a West Coast supporter, are you?
Oh, no way, not on.
Good, that's all right. Good, because
no. I moved to WA the same time Fremantle Dockers started up, and everyone was like pro Eagles, and I'm no way.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go for Fremantle, and that was it. Ever since then, it's been a Fremantle. Great. Yeah. So all right,
cool. Well, they're on the way up, so
yeah, hope so. Yeah. Well, you guys are playing Carlton this weekend, aren't you?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's that could be messy. But you never know with Carlton. They can do all sorts of silly stuff. So
Well, it's more like you never know with the refs.
Well, yes, they burnt us the last round last year against Sydney. Yep. So
yeah. All right, I've got a few questions for you. Like, where's the best place you like to perform, and why do you like that spot?
Well, my favourite pub in all the world is the Grace Emily Hotel in Adelaide.
Yep.
And that's where we did an album launch just on the previous weekend.
Yep.
And it's just the best. It's just music through and through. Every night there's music, and it's just they love music of all kinds. There's huge bands play there, international touring bands. People starting up, everything like that. So they'll just accept everyone.
Yeah.
And it's probably my favourite place. My second favourite that we played many years, a lot of times, is called Jive in Adelaide as well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger venue, but the same thing. They get all sorts of size bands in there, and those two would be my favourite. Yep.
Okay. What's the best thing about performing?
Wow, that's a broad question. I don't know.
We like to.
What
we like to do is get into your mind. I know if you're going to be doing interviews, you'll get heaps of the same questions. We want to know what actually get to know you, so we get a bit more. Yeah, get to know the band and
that's a good one. Absolutely. I would say for me, it's funny. Some of the songs on this album, there's a couple of older ones, but there's some newer ones, and we played a couple of brand new ones on the weekend. And I found myself really, really getting into when I was playing it, those couple of new ones.
Yeah.
And they're probably a little bit, I think they're better songs because I've learnt a lot and gone through all this stuff over the years, and I felt them a lot more. And I think just getting that feeling across, if you can try and get a feeling across, whatever you're feeling over to the crowd, and that's the thing that kind of does it for me, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Now, if you could perform with one other band or another person that you haven't performed with, who would that be?
Well, it's probably not possible now, but it might be partially possible. I've been going through a big Tom Petty and the
Yep.
Heartbreakers deep dive of recently, and obviously the wonderful Tom Petty's no longer with us, but the rest of the Heartbreakers, Mike Campbell and those guys, I think they just seem like a great rock and roll band that and that would be right up there.
All right. So we're going to go back to the album About Time. What was your fondest memory of making the album?
Well, we made it. Our drummer has our rehearsal space is just a shed, line converted shed, which is you wouldn't call it a studio, but it's a nice place to rehearse.
Yeah.
And we recorded it all there. And we did it. It took a couple of years because it was just, dribs and drabs and so forth. But most of the time we end up, just because we're mates, we just end up talking about footy or doing something, like watching something on TV, watching the Formula Ones or something like that,
Yeah.
And so it was recording an album in between having fun. So it was just hanging out with your mates. That's just that's the best bit about it, I think. Yeah.
And musically, what is the best piece of advice you've been given that you like to share?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a band from Melbourne called Even, and the lead singer Ash Naylor, amazing songwriter, guitarist, and even better person. And he gave me some advice once: is really just be true to yourself.
Yeah.
And don't try and necessarily follow whatever trend's going at the moment or anything like that. It's just if you can write songs that you like, and you love, and you believe in it, then the rest of it will take care of itself. So that's kind of what I've tried to follow. Yeah.
No, that's great. Now we've got 10 questions now to follow. Now these 10 questions it's just a little segment we call Get to Know. So this is where we get to know you better on a more personal level. Now these are 10 questions that another human being probably wouldn't ask in an interview.
Yeah.
So are you ready?
Go for it.
Cool. What's a food you can't get enough of?
Pizza.
Pizza. All right.
Yeah.
You got to remove.
That's what come to mind.
Yeah. Well, you got to remove one of these from history: R&B, pop music, country music, or heavy metal.
Probably pop music. I'd have to say. Yep.
Okay. Are you Apple or Android?
I've got an Apple, but I don't like any of them.
There you go. Are you a cat or a dog person? Yeah. Are you a cat or a dog person? Pardon?
Dog.
Dog. Yep.
Dog. Yep.
You got to fill in the gap. I lost my something at the cinema.
Oh, gee, wow. Jaffers.
Yeah.
Definitely Jaffers.
We haven't had that before. We've had lots of phones and wallets, but never a Jaffa. Fill in the gap. I'm sure there's
some pretty other interesting answers you've got in that section as well, I'd imagine.
No, we haven't. We've had one person have a laugh. It was one of the girls we interviewed a couple of weeks ago. She had a laugh and thought it was funny, but she'd come up with she lost a phone or something. But no. Okay, fill in the gap. I can't live without something.
I can't live without my two little boys.
Yep. All right, so I've got a
wholesome answer.
I've got to get rid of that one because we've already asked that question. All right, this one will do.
No.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, gee whiz. I don't mind a bit of Tay-Tay.
Yep.
Yep, I'd run with that.
Yeah, cool. So, okay, what was the last pic you took on your phone?
That was what was I doing? It was probably the other night.
Yeah.
At our CD at our album launch. Yeah, just the support band that played. Really good support band. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, fill in the gap. My something got me into trouble.
Gee whiz. Stupidity.
It gets everyone into trouble. I know it's got me into trouble heaps of times.
Yeah.
Last question. If you couldn't do what you were doing now, like as in playing music, what would you be doing? What would you do?
Well, that's a good one. That would be very difficult to not be playing music, but being just a local band, obviously we've got a real job.
Yep.
And that's being an engineer. So I'm quite interested in mechanical stuff. So yeah, that's I'd probably be trying to restore old cars or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, it looks like you're disappearing into the darkness in your car there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I need to get a bit of light happening here. I'll try and get some light. There we go. Right. That might help.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, what we'll do, we'll start wrapping it up pretty quickly because you've got to get back into the boys and into the wife.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you've got to keep them happy. Otherwise,
then I'll be. Yeah, that's right. There'll be trouble. That's right.
Yeah. So, have you got anything planned in the future? Any more albums? Any EPs? More music releases coming out?
Yeah. Well, I've been going on a bit of a songwriting flourish. So I've got, well, hopefully the whole next album written, ready to go from a songwriting point of view, and hopefully either later in the year or early next year we'll get that recorded, and hopefully sometime next year we'll have another one out.
Yeah, sweet.
Album. So
because this one's on.
Yeah, none.
Oh, sorry.
There's none for 20 years, and then 2 in 2 years. So that's the
yeah, it's pretty good. Has this one been picked up by Triple J yet?
I'm not I don't think Triple J, maybe possibly Double J. I'm not sure at this stage. I know we've done local radio stations, and we're doing PBS in Melbourne and a few other bits and pieces. So there's quite a bit of airplay overseas in the States. Funnily enough, there's like a lot of pop rock, power pop sort of groups that are playing it, and there's lots of streams going on, which is really nice, and lovely reviews, which is. Didn't really expect any of that, but it's still very nice, and it's great. Nice to have some new music out and about.
Yeah, you're on AMRAP, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
That's where I think that's where I found you guys on AMRAP. I was going through, flipping through it.
Okay.
I heard the music. And I'm like, got to get that. Got to get you guys on. And it's like sent you a message, and it was great. It's good because I actually lived in Adelaide for a little bit a few years back. I won't say where because it was not the best place to be living. But yeah, my parents lived there. They
cool.
They they had a bit of fun. They loved it there, but it wasn't the best place. Out of Adelaide, they picked the worst place to live. It's like every state has that one place where you don't go and live, and they moved there. They lived there, but never mind. But they moved out eventually, so the suburb come back up again. Sorry, Mum, don't watch you.
Dragging it down. No, that's it.
All right, it's been really great chatting with you. I wish you all the best with the album, all the best with the second album coming up. Hopefully, you guys can get a bit of traction and come over here to WA and do a few shows because it'd be good to hear you over here.
Yeah, we'd love to. There's a band over there called Reinhardt's that we really, really like. Lovely fellas, absolutely amazing band, and hopefully we're going to try and tee up a show with those guys at some point. So
that would be awesome.
The trek over to Perth is always tricky, but if we can make it happen, we're going to give it a go. So
we got invited to go and review. Jebediah. We went and reviewed Jebediah at the Retrobite, and I believe they opened up for them.
Yes, they may have. Yeah, they've they've done some big supports. I think they supported the Hoodoo Gurus late last year, and a few other notable Australian big bands. So they're doing all right, and they got a newish album out, I think released late last year. That's absolutely absolute belter of an album. Yeah, so
too easy.
Go out there and buy it.
So so everyone knows.
And ours as well, if you like. Yeah.
Well, they can by the QR code that's on the screen there. If they're watching on a computer, fantastic. They can scan that QR code, which will go to your website, and then from your website, obviously they can stream and get the merch because we like to push the merch as well because that's how bands get a bit of extra cash behind them so they can go out on tours. So get on there, scan that. If if you're watching on your phone, the descriptions will be in the links and in the comments below, so you'll be able to go straight there and get all the stuff you need and stream the music, which is most important. So
thank you very much.
Thank you, Reese. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, all the best.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure. Cheers.